Well, good evening and welcome to another evening with Quirky Campers, another evening of ready, steady Quirk, connecting with each other, preparing ourselves to get back out on the road. We're so pleased to see you all tonight. Pleased to be here again. I'd love to hear in the chat. Again, we're always interested to know where you're joining us from. Also, I'd love to hear if you were with us last night for the panel event, and also whether you've seen the van tours that we did both this evening and yesterday. Hopefully the chat will pop up in front of you as people post in there. Do let us know if you've seen those van tours. We'd love to know if you have been watching them, which is your favourite van. Not that it's a competition, but we're just curious because it's such a personal thing. I am Lindsay of Quirky Campers, co-founder and CEO of Quirky Campers, and this is Lindsay.
Lindsay of Quirky Campers.
Yeah. Saying this now is making me think that I forgot to introduce us last night. Did I introduce us?
I mean, we can make up for it very quickly by just explaining that we are both called Lindsay. We both work for Quirky Campers. Creator, co-creator, and social media. If
wizard.
You've seen anything on social or dropped us a message, it's probably me that's responded back to you. So hopefully I was able to help you out to the best of my ability. But yeah, both called Lindsay, so very straightforward.
And I know that lots of you who are joining us tonight have been on various other Zooms that we've done, so whether it was last night or virtual workshops or other events that we've hosted, so this will all feel quite familiar. But for anybody who's new and perhaps might even be new to Zoom, if that's a thing after a year of lockdown, there's a couple of things to note. Rich is very kindly, so Rich also recently joined Quirky Campers, so we've got some extra tech support and he's pinning our faces, so you actually don't need to play around with the view. Hopefully you should see whoever you're supposed to see big on the screen in front of you. Just to say that you will all be kept on mute, because otherwise you can only imagine the chaos and the noisiness of hearing 100 people all talking at once on Zoom. So if you'd like to either chat or ask questions, just put them in the chat box. So we are looking forward to hearing your questions. Anything else I want to say about Zoom? We are recording this, so we will be sending it out to you. Probably won't be until next week now, because we need a rest after this, I think basically. But we will be sending you out a recording, so if you want to see more, then you can do so. And then the other thing that I really want to say, just to frame this event, is that we have all of our speakers tonight told us that they particularly wanted to talk about the topic of mental health, looking after yourself, self-care, well-being, looking after your mind. And so originally we were going to incorporate this as part of last night's panel, but we decided that actually it needed to be a topic of conversation all on its own, particularly after having a pandemic, particularly in the day and age that we're facing. We need to all be paying attention to looking after ourselves and looking after our minds. And we really want to share some personal stories, and we want to really take any stigma away from talking about our minds in the same way that we talk about our bodies. So we're looking forward to hearing people's personal experiences and their personal tips. But what we're not offering is any professional advice, and we're certainly not saying that any of the things that might be shared this evening are a replacement for professional therapy, for medication if needed. So if this for you goes beyond just kind of that day-to-day looking after your well-being, then we do encourage you to seek professional support, because that's not what we're going to provide this evening. But it is going to be an evening, I think, full of sharing, openness, connection, and lots of ideas about how we can all take care of ourselves. Is there anything I've missed?
I think you've done a great job there, Liz.
Right, pass over to you then.
Yeah, guys, it's so great to be back again and see so many of you joining us for second part of this 2-day event in support of Camp Quirky, Ready Steady Quirk. As Lindsay said, this is going to be a great opportunity for us to talk to some real kings and queens of the van life community, and it's such an exciting opportunity, as always, to talk to these great people. So we're going to kick straight off. You may recognise these guys, pretty popular on the YouTube channel. So, and these guys are, industry experts when it comes to all things van life. They've been pretty much living the dream now for us all to see for quite a while. So that is Brittany and Drew of Mr. and Mrs. Adventure, joining us from the States. How are you guys? Hopefully you can hear me all right. Have I kicked them out accidentally?
Oh, no.
Turn on original sound. Does that... What have we done? Did I kick them? What did I do?
They didn't like your introduction.
They didn't like me.
No,
was it not good enough? Let's start again.
No.
Brittany and Drew are... Oh, they're back. They're back. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we've just lost your
What am I doing?
sound.
Can you hear us, guys?
We can hear you.
You can. Ah, that's such a shame. It's breaking up slightly. I don't know if you're getting the same storm over there that we're getting here, or let's try and there we go.
Oh,
All right, I'll tell you what,
This works.
can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Fab. We can hear you a little bit better now, Britt. Can you? Okay, great. I think we've got you. Hello, how are you?
Okay, good. I'm glad we're here. It's lovely to see both of you.
you're a bit frozen.
You are. You're frozen. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Give it another go. We'll see if it gets smoother.
Okay. What do you think now? Does it seem like it's all right?
It's slightly
Yeah.
we heard you then. It's just a bit roboty. Oh, have we lost you? Have you frozen? Are you there?
Okay.
Oh,
Should we?
it's coming in and out.
Here. We're still here.
I think maybe if we go to Kinging It and we come back to you. Oh yeah, no, it's
working.
It's not great. It's really coming in and out.
So sorry, guys. Yeah, it's jumping in and out for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure. Could you try reconnecting with us and then we can come back to you? Is that okay?
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. Just take them with us.
Rich, can
Thanks
you?
for joining us for this adventure.
This is all planned.
We are Mr. and Mrs. Adventure.
There's the van.
Bringing you on a adventure.
Good. Oh look, okay, we're going for a little tour.
Is this going better?
That is slightly
That is
better.
going
Yeah,
better.
yeah, that is better. Thanks for that. Oh, technology. Should we?
All right. What are we in action? Is this good?
Wait, we're still. I'm still sort of waiting to see if it's good.
Okay. Is this better?
Try again.
How about now?
I mean, Drew
Is
flew
this
across the room.
working?
I'm hoping that.
Yeah.
Try now. Sorry.
Now?
Okay.
How about now?
Perfect. I think.
Oh, wonderful.
Better?
Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
That was all part of the show.
It is.
I
It
know.
is. What's
So
a
cool,
Zoom
guys.
call?
So cool.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us from the States. Whereabouts are you at the moment?
We're standing in a windowsill, but we're in Tennessee. We're in Nashville, just outside of Nashville.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So, yeah, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you here. I've already seen comments coming through already. Very, very popular. So, yeah, tell us more about you and tell us about your backgrounds, and then we can talk more about this such important topic as well.
That sounds wonderful. Drew and I had the pleasure of meeting David and Lindsay when we flew to England to purchase our honeymoon van, and they have just been our friends ever since.
That was back in February of 2016. So Quirky Campers really has grown exponentially since then.
It's been so inspiring to watch, and
we got to rent Hector a big box truck and spent 3 weeks in it while we looked for the van of our dreams to take us all around Europe.
And you'll see it. I actually made that our Quirky Camper the background of my computer screen. So when I do my screen share, you'll be able to see Hector. And as far as a mental health journey, back in 2007, I was forced to medically withdraw from my university to seek help for my battle with anorexia. It was a very fast and dangerous downhill spiral for me. They did not think that I was going to make it. They told my mom to prepare for the death of a child, and I was able to seek help. I went to an inpatient center, and that was for 3 months and then insurance, was done after that. And I had to go back to school or else I was going to lose all my credits. And so I did what I had to, and I had a great support system around me as far as professionals, but I had to do a lot personally. And along that journey of opening myself back up to a life of prosperity and joy and hope, I met Drew 2 years after. And it was the exact right time because I could feel myself isolating. And I was praying. I said, please put other people in my life, like pull me out, force me to be with other people. And he did. The universe works in these really special ways when you ask it and allow it to. So it's been a journey, but van life has definitely helped kind of bring me into this next level of recovery. And it's been beautiful for our love and our connection. And it brought us you. So
wonderful
here we are.
People we've met and connected with on the road.
Yeah.
Incredible. How did you say that it's obviously brought this new element into your lives and taken it to the next level? What is it? What is the core sort of thing that you can say about how this has done that for you?
2 words: letting go.
Yeah.
And the first 3 months of van life, I didn't think I could do it. We started van life in 2015 and have been on the road ever since.
We planned to only do it for 1 year off some savings in a family camper van, and we just fell in love with it. And Brittany jumped the hurdle past the 3-month mark, and 7 years later, we're still doing it.
It was, letting go of knowns and comforts and finding a comfort within myself. And for me, it's a connection to God or something higher than yourself that you can trust what you don't know, because we had so much unknown around us, and we still do, but now I have a lot larger of a comfort zone and a lot more tools in my toolbox because of it.
Awesome. No, I think and I think this is one thing I always talk to people about with my experience with having a van and living the van life and stuff is, the less is more sort of way of life can be so beneficial in so many ways, shedding yourself of so many unnecessary stresses and extras and and people are afraid to do that, aren't they? Some people are afraid to think that they can exist with such much more sort of minimal possessions or things like that. But yeah, that is one of the things that I definitely associate with this way of life as well.
It is liberating. There are so many things that have about van life that really do allow you to kind of open up to your own life and like a more open part of yourself. Yeah.
Do you think that there are any, because we definitely don't want to paint it like it's all roses. Do you think there are any particular challenges or risks to people looking after their mental health with living full-time in a van?
Yeah.
I think for you in the beginning, it was routine. Like you were so used to wanting to go to a certain yoga class or certain things like that.
Well, but as far as a risk, I think there's a point on your mental health journey where it would be like too early along your path. Like for me, okay, letting go of a yoga studio, that's fine. I can still do it online. But letting go of seeing my dietitian in person because I'm not yet stable enough, that's not that, I would say going into van life too early where maybe you do need a support system consistently in person to hold you accountable, then it's not yet time. But it's a motivation to get ready. Once I get to this point where I can do phone therapy with my therapist just kind of on a whim, hey, are you free this week? Or even if it is scheduled each week, but having a bit more strength behind your own, struggles. Yeah. And maybe family around if you need like other people to kind of help take care of you or feel loved.
I think familiar faces, people that recognize you when you walk into the room, and it's just like the comfort thing. And I think as great as it is connecting and meeting new people on the road, there's always that part of us that longs for home, or those familiar faces, or that know our backstory. Like, obviously that's a split bag in itself, but it's just having that joy that comes from like
Your Nana.
those interactions, perpetual. Yes, we love our Nana and Papa dearly.
Okay, Nana. No. Fantastic. You guys have a presentation for us, is that right? That you...
Yeah. So when we were choosing sort of what direction to go with when it comes to nurturing yourself and others, I chose words and then allowed myself to kind of do an outline. And in order to kind of keep myself on track so we can cover all the bases, I just put it in a little PDF. You know, I'm happy to.
Well, let's guys, if you want to ask any questions, please fire away, pop those in the chat. There's going to be so many opportunities for these guys to answer questions, and everybody on the panel tonight. Don't be afraid, pop your comments in the chat there, and we can look at those later and get those answers for you.
So nice to hear from Fiona that you're new to the camper van thing, but you've just booked Gander, which is very exciting. I do love Gander. Goose and Gander, who are owned by the Gaggle of Geese pub owners. That whole thing is gorgeous, and they've got gorgeous campsite you can stay on as well. So I hope that you really enjoy that experience, and it gives you what you need to decide if you're going to do your own in the future. Oh, look. Oh, I do love that picture.
See Hector?
Oh,
there he is. Yep.
Incredible.
Nice.
Beautiful box truck.
Middle of February, somewhere probably on the way to Sheffield.
How cold you were.
I know. I did not wear lingerie on my honeymoon. I wore a ski suit. But, all right. So here we just have our little cover page. So nurturing your mind and each other through words, the words we think, write, speak, read, and hear. We need to protect ourselves from the downward spiral that is always seeming to try and pull us down, and protect ourselves so we can help protect each other. And as we move through, I'll talk about the mantras and journaling and how we speak to ourselves and others, books and articles that might kind of help inspire positive thoughts, and then meditations and, you know, certain podcasts or even movies that we love that have been good for us now and in the past. So the first one, let's talk about the words that we think. If you don't like something, change it. But if you can't change it, change the way you think about it. It's probably one of my favorite quotes, because all it takes is a little shift in perspective for a certain situation, whether in front or behind of you, to have a little bit more light in it. Before I get out of bed in the morning, the first thing I try to think about, before the thoughts of, oh, do you really want to get out of bed today? Before that starts to get in there, is 3 things I'm grateful for. And they can just be simple, like 3 things right in front of my face sometimes. Like
husband, number 1.
It usually makes the top of the list. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's an easy give, you know, something to make you smile. But really it sets my mind in a proper direction for seeking the positive things throughout the day. And we started doing that together, living in the van, actually. And then also simple mantras that I'll sometimes just repeat in my mind, whether I'm waiting in line at a grocery store or intentionally trying to think of something, is I love you and I am listening to yourself. And usually before I edit a video for YouTube, I am capable. Also, I am infinitely creative. That's another good one. And if there are things that you're worried about or stressed about, or the unknown, if you find that your thoughts are stuck in those things, those loops, just try and imagine the best possible outcome and let that be what you believe is going to happen, you know, because there's no reason to worry about something that hasn't yet happened and put energy towards what you don't want to have happen. So just imagining the best possible outcome, and, you know, you have no choice but to be optimistic at that point. You know, you want that to happen. Well, you're going to have the right mindset to get there. So that has worked for me too.
Sure.
It's taken us a lot of miles
It has.
in the best of ways.
And I'll share a page from my journals with each of our little topics, but I will continue to dream big and believe even greater. My mind belongs to me. I am the only one that can imagine exactly what I want instead of giving into what someone else is trying to paint the world to be. My vision can't be stopped. I trust what's unfolding for me, or that what's unfolding for me is greater than what I can imagine right now. I will remain patient, motivated, inspired, and hopeful about everything. I am always building mental energy, and by being more kind, loving, and grateful with my thoughts, I am making it work in my favor. And so if you can pair positive thoughts with movement as well, then you can really work that positivity into your cracks and dark corners and release whatever stuck darker feelings and emotions you've been holding on to have been there for so long. Just that's why I love yoga and mantras and all of that work together.
Yeah. Just want to ask, are we going at okay pace? We want to be mindful that other people have to speak. Is that okay?
Yeah, we have until
Started slightly.
Yeah, and I
late.
think we can also rejig the time.
Okay.
You carry on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have like 10 more minutes or just a ballpark or something?
like 5.
Yeah, let's 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'll just go through this.
We were thinking there and using point number 1.
Well said. Okay, so going off of the journaling page, writing is a really wonderful way that I've been able to nurture myself. And through sharing my writing, I have heard from our community that they have started journaling and that it has done wonders for them. And I'm so grateful that even I had the courage to share some journal pages, just to know that it has been powerful for others. And if you haven't yet tried writing to nurture yourself, I have only heard positive things. And I have found a pen and paper to be the best therapy. If I'm writing outside, that's even better. And you can write yourself into a state of being. So like this one.
And that's not just for Brittany too. I find myself journaling and really appreciating, I guess, the art of sitting there with pen and paper and just putting thoughts down.
Yeah, it's a nice space to create for yourself that we don't generally tend to do.
We tend to get wrapped up in our activities and adventures and hikes and bikes, but we just try to refocus and have that quiet time too.
A lot of times we'll bring the journal on a hike with the intention of journaling at the top of a thing, and then that doesn't happen. But the intention's there.
I actually acquired a journal unintentionally as a Christmas present 2 years ago, and I had lost my father 3 months previously, and it wasn't I'd been through quite a tough couple of years, and having a journal, and again, not really it becoming an intentional part of my life, was a challenge for me, because I think it's so easy to feel as if there's this pressure to get everything down and not miss things throughout the day. And I really just had a conversation with myself, and I was like, look, you just write whatever you want to write, and don't feel like enough is whatever you feel is right on that one page,
Right.
And benefits for me, again, it's just something that even I felt as if I would struggle with that, and I've been able to use it as a form of I get to the end of the day and I'm like you, I tend to try and schedule it into my day and do it in sort of much more sort of nice scenic places and part of my day and stuff. Doesn't matter when it happens. If it happens, like, it's so important for me to do that, and I look forward to doing it now. Like, it's not a chore, it's not a it's something that really has benefited me as well. So it's so inspiring to see your beautiful journal. It makes mine look
It's just about finding a way that resonates with you and brings you healing and joy and doesn't bring you stress.
Sure.
For me, it's a lot easier for me to like hold on to one aspect of something and then like kind of simply jot it down, because I can also get overwhelmed with how I'm thinking I have to journal. It should be this way. It just needs to be whatever would be good for you, and that changes from day to day. And writing can also inspire other creative outlets too. So it's like, oh, well, maybe I know how to draw, or, oh, it'd be nice what if I just got watercolors? And so it can help open the door once you get the pen in your hand and you start to realize that you can create things. not on a screen especially feels really great.
Sometimes it might be full Polaroid photos that are taped in there. It's a whole plethora of things.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, believe in the power of journaling and make time for it if you can. I mean, each day is wonderful, but I don't even do it every day, I'm being honest. And if anything, maybe you can just write down 3 things you're grateful for and just have that be what you do until you develop, your own practice. Also writing like loving sticky notes or birthday cards and reflecting on those that you love. I love writing birthday cards. It helps remove the foggy clouds of life that keep us lost in the mundane corners of our mind. So it can help kind of just remove the blah. And speak. All right, the next one, call someone that you love and say, I love you more, or just talk to someone that you love and ask how they're doing and smile at strangers and just try and use your voice in a way that allows you to shine your light. And if the people don't shine their light back, that's fine. Not everyone has an abundance of it on a given day. So you did, and maybe it helped them out in the end.
For us traveling throughout Europe, that was really interesting, speaking the language or the culture just being different throughout different countries, whether you're in Eastern Europe or in Morocco or in Spain. And just getting, like, you can't take offense to if somebody, maybe they're caught up in their own thoughts and so forth. And don't be offended if somebody doesn't give that smile back. Just know that you try to shine.
It is worth it. Yeah. And speaking love and gratitude into all areas of your life. And by speaking love, you generate laughter, or you speak opportunities into other people's lives, or you give validation to somebody who has felt unheard, or you allow, your light shines and you enlighten somebody on maybe a new way of being or thinking. And also I found observing the way that you speak to pets, just like I watch the way my mom speaks to her cats and I'm like, oh, cutie, it's okay, come here. So it's a good indicator of your internal voice.
Yeah.
Right. And I just put a image here of positive language. It's just good to have that in your back pocket. It's a good thing to read if you're just like, I need anything positive. And it's simple. Use your voice in a way that oozes intention and presence, truth and connection. Speak from your soul and reflect on what that sounds and feels like. It's all practice. It has taken me, I started recovery 2007, so 14 years. And at first I didn't know that I even had a voice. I would pray, help me to know my needs so that I can speak them to Drew so that he can know how to love me, because I knew so little about what I needed. And then reading, we find it important to create a non-negotiable social media cutoff time. Forcing it is a little bit difficult. I'm like, okay, it's time, dinner's ready. And then it's like last things on the phone, dinner's an hour late. Not all the time, but. And we put a link here to our Amazon bookstore where I'm consistently putting either books that I've loved or ones that others have loved and have recommended to us. They're all in there. Most of them are just self-help, but you will find a few adventure / like Lonely Planets in there. And if you can
put that in the chat as well, Brittany, sorry to interrupt, just feel free to pop that in the chat there so people can click through.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll upload the PDF. So then you guys can take it. Oh, true. Yeah. You can, if I can get the whole document, you can take the time and maybe read these pages and journal from them. This page particularly was taken from The Power of Positive Thinking, which, sorry, I've scrolled up and down there a couple times. We both read it. I think I read it twice now. Yeah, it's wonderful. And also you can Google articles about forgiveness, positivity, and anything that you want to learn. You can cultivate your curiosity and create more confidence through doing that. And now we're to the final of the nurturing yourself through the words that you hear. So listening to things that expand your mind and help you grow towards your best self. Honestly, breath is one of the best things to listen to. I have a feeling that Kinging It is going to weave that into their mindfulness talk. And as well, Jade with her coping tools. But here's just a little list of some movies and podcasts. And
podcasts are something that when we go for a jog, we just absolutely love pouring. Like physically we're doing something, but mentally we're nourishing our bodies. And like we have to learn better, everybody, to speak better to our own selves, because a lot of times we're our own worst critics. And I think that's where it stems for. And sometimes you might lash out at your partner, but it really stemmed from what you were telling yourself within. And so I think just that pouring all these things are like so good for the mind.
Yeah, that's the pairing the positive words so that they can really sink into the corners. Yeah. And
so I'll take a deep breath for 10 seconds.
That's a long one, but and honestly, the wave of your breath just reminds you, like, I am here. Yeah.
Release.
Such a simple, action to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for traveling with us into the windowsill that actually worked wonderfully.
There's some kind of metaphor there, the windowsill of our minds.
Yeah, I think so. Reflection.
The window of our souls, the reflections.
We look forward to getting everybody chatting at the end of this event today, and you can hopefully ask as many questions as you like to Brittany and Drew, and they'll be able to offer some guidance and instruction. And thank you again for your time, and we really appreciate you. Speak to you soon.
Yep. Yes, talk to you soon.
That was fantastic. And I definitely would recommend journaling to people, from just speaking from experience. I think, for like I said before, it's not something that I naturally would have thought would work well for me and my lifestyle, and of course now I don't have the time to do it, but I did find the time to do it because I so recognized how it's managed to benefit me in my situation and what I've gone through. And give it a go, even if it's just a note, one sentence or something a day. Like, it's just something that I think everybody maybe should just give a go, and see if you can reap the benefits. Right, we're going to move swiftly on now to these two who, well, they're currently in a storm in the middle of Wales, so I hope we've still got them. If those of you that joined us at the Facebook van tour, we had a wonderful tour of Custard, and Amy and Craig, thank you again for sticking with us and being here this evening. It's such a pleasure to have you. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
no worries. Thanks for having us, guys.
Hopefully you can hear us.
I'm blown away. This is great news.
Doing this, it's just the van, like, it's the wind, it's so strong, it's crazy.
So guys, again, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a important topic of conversation, and we look forward to hearing more about how you guys have intertwined nurturing your mind and your well-being into your daily lives. Such busy schedules and crazy experiences, you've always got something on, so tell us a bit more about that and how it's kind of a big part of your day and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. We're always so full on, so for us, like, trying to take a step back and just be mindful is something that we really try to practice.
It is a practice, isn't it? It's a learning progress, I suppose.
Yeah, you have to really be aware of it, and you can kind of train yourself to be better at it. But practicing mindfulness is something that we try to do. And if anybody has seen like some of our newest videos, one of the things that we've really gotten into recently is cold water swimming. And for us, that's something that just really gets us in the moment. You can't be anywhere else.
Yeah, all of your thoughts, all of the things you need to do, or maybe past worries, all of it's gone because you are freezing. You're there, and you have to feel how your body's feeling, and you have to be living in that present moment there and then, which is really cool. We love doing it.
Win of actually overcoming the, oh my gosh, do I really want to do this? Am I going to enjoy this? How am I going to feel? As soon as you overcome that in itself is a little win, isn't it? Actually getting in. So yeah,
it really is. Yeah,
that's the most scariest part, is the build up to it and knowing you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then when you go in and it's super painful and you come back out and you like breathe through it and then head back in. I promise we didn't make this little PowerPoint when Brittany and Drew were talking because we felt underprepared, but Can you see it?
Yeah.
So at the minute we're traveling with a bunch of friends, Tanya and Adam on the right and our friend Alex in the middle, and we took them all out for their first ever wilds cold swim, which Craig loves to do with people and guide people and get everyone involved.
It's great because we had a friend, Alex, who's in the red there, who came up from London, and she's been in London for such a long time, and she wanted to get out in nature and sort of just get back to herself and be in the moment. So I was like, right, the first thing we're going to do on the first morning is we're going to jump in a river. And she was like, oh my God, terrified. So we always do a before and after photo. So this is everybody looking like quite scared, but quite happy.
Ready, excited for it.
And then, the build-up's always the worst part, because when we first did it, it was Amy's cancerversary. We were up in Scotland and we walked to this lock called the Green Lock. And it was the coldest water I've ever put my toe in.
It was so painful. It took a few attempts.
So Amy wanted to do that. She wanted to challenge herself to sort of celebrate. How many years all clear were you then? 11 years.
I think so, yeah, from cancer, yeah.
So that was our first thing, and it was so good that we kept it going. So this is the before photo with the guys, and then this is the after. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. I have to
malfunctions.
Make the screen smaller. I've lost it now. How do you get the sidebar up? I didn't know.
Smiles are going to be.
I got it.
And this is the
Don't
after.
panic. And this is the after photo.
Okay.
Everyone's
I don't know
like,
if we're going to look happier or worse. Or...
You'll have to see the videos going up on Sunday, and you can kind of see the anxiety. Really like it's such a mind game, because if you're feeling, sometimes I like to do this when I am feeling anxious, but the anxiety before can sometimes be really intense, but it's mainly like excitement. But then as soon as you go in, it like washes it all away, and you come out and everyone screamed, everyone's like, oh my God, like just screaming their heads off.
It's a ride, isn't it? It's like going to a thing and getting on it.
It really is. So we've been doing it quite a lot here in Wales. So we found like a really nice waterfall here, and this was pretty cold water, wasn't it?
Yes, we were the only ones that got in here.
Yeah, so it's just been something that we've been trying to do, and
don't judge the cap, guys.
Amy's little swimming cap there. Look.
I look like a nun, I really do.
But yeah, a friend of mine, James and I, we started a podcast talking about our mental health journeys and what we've been through with depression and anxiety. And one of the things that we would do together is the cold water swims on like stressful days, just to sort of get back in the moment. And then because of the podcast, we had so many people reaching out. So we decided to like put it out there, see if people wanted to do a group swim. So we had like a whole bunch of people come down, and they had their own sort of problems, whether they were stressed or they'd felt, mental health problems in the past. And
or the coronavirus had kept a lot of them in.
Yeah, so a lot of people just hadn't been out for a long time. And then everybody was so terrified before, but the feeling...
Well, yeah, a lot of people weren't going to come, were they?
Yeah, they weren't.
James kind of put out an Instagram story saying, listen, I know you don't want to come. I know you don't want to do this. It's horrible meeting new people, going in the water.
Yeah.
But this is me telling you, you need to come.
Yeah.
So a lot of people said, I only came, James, because you put that on the stories.
Yeah, it was really cool. And the same scenario, everybody was terrified before. It was a really cold day as well. You could see everyone was wrapped up in hoodies and hats and stuff. And then I haven't got an after photo because we filmed most of it, but this is me and James after, just feeling really chuffed with ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always the same. And so that's one thing that we love to do to make us feel more mindful. What's the next bit we've got here? Like Drew and Brittany was saying about breathing, like that is another one. It's so key. And being mindful, breathing doesn't have to just be meditation. It can be you just like taking a minute when you find yourself like feeling anxious or stressed, you bunch up and you literally become stressed. You become like all hunched up. But if you just realize that, take a big deep breath, relax your shoulders and roll them out, it just completely changes how you feel. So yeah, breathing and meditation as well, if you wanted to take that a step further and give that a go.
What do you use for meditation?
I use an app called Headspace, which is really nice and really simple. It's not like overly spiritual, it's really basic guided meditation. You can do like 3-minute ones, or you can go up to like 20 minutes, and I find that really helpful for me, especially when I'm feeling stressed or anxious. That's a great one. And then just simple things like if you are a lot of anxiety or stress comes from just living in your head, living in the future. So like just trying to get back into the moment, being mindful by like feeling where you are, smelling the air where you are. It sounds really like obvious, but like wriggling your toes is another one, because it brings you back to like, oh, this is reality. All those like worries in my head that are taking me somewhere else, they're not actually happening, they're just all in your head. So if you can just bring yourself back in, then that is a winner for me. Just wriggle your toes and take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I find that just going outside barefoot is a really great way to feel.
Yeah.
And I've did so many times. I haven't quite done it yet because there's gale force winds, but I
It is a
really
great
want to
one.
do that on this trip.
It really is a great one. Me and Adam went for a hike yesterday to the top of the mountain for a swim, and we had barefoot on the grass, and the sun had been on the grass, and the feeling of it on my feet was just so nice. It's like grounding. It's another technique. Isn't it?
Yeah, such a great way to feel more grounded. And also just a mantra in general, guys, you know, rule your own world. It's pretty much like, you know, take those steps and set these little challenges each day, and even if they're you know, such small scale things, you can really benefit from, you know, that kind of, right, I've done something, tick, like on to the next challenge. So
that's it. 'Cause everybody's got their own problems. Everybody's, you know, there's something holding people back, and I think our rule your own motto is just to sort of, you know,
rule your own motto,
rule your own world motto. just go for it, you know. Just try and be brave and go for what you want to do. Don't let anybody sort of question you or tell you which way to go. This is your life. You've got control of it, and you are the person that will take you where you want to go.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think another one as well is sort of similar to sort of going outside and getting your feet on the ground, is just moving your body. Like a lot of things we like to do is, well,
I don't like to do it.
I like to do it, but Amy loves to do it when I force her to. So there was this hike in Scotland, and Amy was like, it's really big. She was terrified to do it. The mountain was humongous. Even when I saw it, I was like, we're never going to get up there.
My confidence in my fitness is at zero, and I do worry about taking on big hikes and things, because people with sticks like overtake me and stuff.
But this is Amy at the top, and she was so proud, like she was so happy.
I was buzzing.
Such a good photo.
I love it.
Wow.
It was incredible views, like 360 views. So it's called Stack Polly in Scotland. It's kind of not far from, what's that port called?
No.
It's on the west side.
Right.
But yeah, stunning place, really, really nice.
We'll never get a picture like that again, so I'm proud of that word.
And you both look so great as well.
Oh, we're pretty sweaty. But yeah, that's a few of our tips, and yeah, just getting out in nature.
Like, full stop. Yeah.
We had an easier walk the other day, and we walked up, and it was just a huge lake there, and open water does something for you. I feel like that really brings you back to the moment, and you know, all your sort of worries sort of melt away when you're outdoors. I feel like it gives your stress and your anxiety space to breathe. So when you're in a house or you're like in a van and you feel like that, you feel like quite compressed, and you can feel claustrophobic. But as soon as you get out, it just like opens your airways and your brain.
That change of scenery, that different scenario that you're not kind of, you know, it's not part of this routine that you might have in your head where it's the same old thing every day. It's so important to just break out of that, isn't it? And leap. One of my favorite things I get to say is to leap, and the net always appears in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
I nicked that. That's actually a lyric. So if you want to give my long-term favorite artists. But yeah, no, guys, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for that, and it's been a real pleasure. You've made us giggle, and our bellies hurt from your van tour as well. So thank you again. We will be chatting to you again very shortly at the end, and we're going to have breakout rooms so everybody listening can ask these guys whatever you'd like to, and they'll get back to you. Yeah, thank you again, and we'll speak to you shortly.
Nice to see you.
Thanks so much.
So lovely to hear your stories.
Thanks, guys. In a bit.
And I hope you make it through that storm and you're still with us in about half an hour's time. Great. We are going to move straight on now to Jade. Jade, hopefully she can hear us. Van Life Builds. Yay. Hello. Now, you're not far from us, are you, Jade?
I'm in Bristol as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. How's your bunting tonight, guys?
So the way that we had strung up the bunting made the office into this like crystal maze experience where you couldn't just walk through, you had to duck and jump and dive.
And this is very good in Crystal Maze, as proven when I did the Crystal Maze experience in Manchester. I didn't last very long because I kept knocking myself out with it. So yeah, it had to go, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. No worries.
No, it's we definitely had a lot of fun putting that up yesterday as well. So
that was most of it. Pops and bunting, that can be one of our.
I wasn't quite sure what to expect tonight, so yeah.
Well, yeah, you made it. But yeah,
thanks for joining us, Jade.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
And you, what you've been up to has very much been part of the inspiration for this evening and bringing this.
Yeah, well, I'll touch on that, in a minute. But we basically made a mental health video involving lots of van lifers, and it was really just to demonstrate that mental health can affect us all, regardless of who we are, really. So yeah, I just was wanted to talk about that, and I just feel like the van life community in general is just so strong, and I'm sure you all agree as well. There's nothing quite like it, is there? It's just amazing to be part of. So I'm really happy to be here tonight. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, it feels like the van life community is also up for having these kinds of conversations, but it takes people to start them, doesn't it? And sometimes that can feel a bit vulnerable or exposing, to move away from just painting things as being all shiny and happy, to being able to admit that our lives are multi-dimensional and that we all have hard times and good times and the same kinds of struggles.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm gonna share some coping mechanisms to stress and overwhelm, but that'll be like at the end of the talk. Firstly, I wanted really for you all to just do a small task with me to start with. So if you can all just think of like a really special memory that you've got. It could be any memory. It could be, your anniversary. It could be your wedding day, the birth of your child, something that's really happy. And just keep it in your mind, and then we'll come back to it later. And and then I'll reveal all then. But yeah, I was really particularly happy to be part of this Nurture Your Mind and Others event this evening. Basically I've battled with mental illness kind of all of my life, so since childhood really, and as a result of that I've developed quite a big passion for kind of helping others to understand their own mental health. So yeah, I mean, it's like a huge part of who I am, and I'm a huge advocate for it really. Kind of outside of van life fields, you probably don't know much about me really, because you've only really seen me in van life fields. But as you're all aware, things have been getting back to normal out there at the moment. That the pandemic's coming to an end, and as we heard yesterday, there's loads of excitement surrounding it. But I wanted to really just share like my personal struggles that I'm going through at the moment, and I just feel like it may help other people in a similar position. So personally, at the moment, I'm really struggling with the easing of restrictions, because here in the UK everything's going back to normal, and I know that might sound crazy to some people because everyone's been waiting for them to just end, but because I'm suffering with long COVID, I'm not able to kind of do what my heart desires almost. So I can live the van life and go out and travel as I'd want to. And I've been told I can't drive, and by my doctors, because I'm experiencing like blackouts and dizziness and things like that relating to long COVID. So yeah, if I fall asleep in a minute, then you all know why. But yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a stressful time because COVID's just completely turned my life upside down. But yeah, my main point here is if you can relate to how I'm feeling, then please don't feel like you're alone with it, because all these milestones and dates set out by like the government, we can actually do that in our own time. We don't have to follow, these rules and regulations that are inflicted on us. And it's just, taking a step back and accepting where we are, kind of pacing, in my experience, just pacing myself and just doing small, like, manageable chunks rather than trying to, like, chuck myself in the deep end and then just crash, basically. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you, really.
I really relate to how you're feeling, and having had much less intense experiences with mental health challenges, but just having had a year at home, that it just feels very exhausting actually to be around people and feeling like, having waited for these new freedoms, it's suddenly like, oh, actually, could we just slow down here? Could you just take those back? It's and actually, I think you're so right, feeling like we have the power to make those choices for ourselves and to make the choices that are going to support looking after ourselves.
And another issue relating to mental health that I'm currently going through is, with the pandemic, it seems to have brought my agoraphobia back out, because it was something that I was dealing with quite badly a few years ago, but because of being at home for so long and not having to have those big meetings or meet people other than outside my household, it's really made my issues in that way surface again. And I just wanted to kind of share that with everyone. So, if your mental health issues are surfacing, to kind of just let you know that that's absolutely normal, because we're kind of all going through this massive kind of change and a huge shift in, like, the way we live, basically. So, it's just really important to try and normalize that for people, because there's lots of people feeling like that at the minute.
I think a big thing for me, Jade, is I've struggled with that kind of feeling that you think you're indestructible in a lot of ways, and then when you feel challenged, it's kind of hard to accept that you may feel that way. And I think it's really important to allow yourself to feel, that we all suffer with and struggle with difficulties, and not to feel ashamed or weak in any way if you do start to feel that way, particularly because of the situation with COVID. And it has been such a challenge, hasn't it, for the entire population, particularly if you're a social person. The biggest struggle for me was although I enjoy my own company a lot of the time, it's that losing the ability to connect with others. And now being in a position where we are gradually being allowed, following this routine that's been put in place, to see others again, like Lindsay said, it's just kind of like
tiring.
And it's like exhausting in a lot of ways. So for me, it was like that kind of feeling of letting yourself feel.
But that's another thing, like, that's an outlet for a lot of people, the social side of life. It's how some people deal with their anxieties. They keep themselves busy, and being stuck at home makes things surface for people because they don't have that outlet anymore. So it's just different for everybody, really. We've all got our areas of development and things like that, and it's just finding ways that work for you to try and get over that. But there are so many different things that you can do, and I'll touch on that in a minute. But I just wanted to share a little bit more about the mental health video that I made, if you don't mind.
Please do.
So I created it recently, and I'll leave the link in the, is it called the chat? Sorry, I'm not really used to Zoom. Is it called the chat? Yeah, the chat.
Yeah.
Just a sec. I'll put it in there. But there's a bit of a story behind it. But I probably won't have time to go into that fully here tonight. But just briefly, I know somebody in the van life community, and he feels that he's really been let down by the van life community, but also society in general as well. So really, my video was to stand by him and make him feel more supported. And that was really the huge inspiration behind it. And I also wanted to demonstrate that mental health can affect anyone, regardless of kind of how popular you are, how wealthy you are, how many followers you have, and that was that main thing that I wanted to try and get across in the video. So I don't know if you've watched it. If you have, then let me know in the comments. But, yeah, no, I know, Lindsay. I know you were in it. I didn't know which one it was going to be actually.
Oh, that was it. Yeah,
I was thinking, oh, which one? So, yeah.
Hope you were happy with the Lindsay that you got anyway. So
yeah, of course I was. And you were in where were you at the time?
New Forest.
Yeah, because the scenery looked amazing. Yeah.
Well, in fact, you were lucky. That was probably the only time throughout my entire time there that the horse wasn't in any shot of
okay.
So many horses in the New Forest. It's something that I wasn't prepared for, but yeah, good job. I like horses. Yeah, no, it was a real pleasure to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah. So just carrying on from what I'm saying. So my view on mental health in general on social media is that, you know, everyone is important, and I want to stand with people who are out of the spotlight. A little bit like me, I've never really been into social media before. Before Van Life Builds is something really that I've had to kind of almost like learn to like in a way. I know that sounds bad, but it is the truth. Like I've kind of just had to adapt with it. So for example, when celebrities or like influencers have problems, it's there's always like a really big kind of hype over it. And obviously, you know, they're people too, they matter, that we're all human. But my issue with it is that it kind of makes the other people who are living normally feel as if they're less worthy. And it's something that I come across, you know, quite often. And when it comes to mental health of others online, I feel that, you know, it's really important to be mindful of that, because comparison is just a huge problem for sufferers. And yeah, I've got a few tips that I want to share so it can kind of, you know, you try and avoid these negative emotions online. So my first tip would be kind of just remembering that real life is different to social media. So people are only showing you what they want you to see. So I'll give you an example. You know, Wayne and I might share a picture of a lovely van build, but what we haven't shown you is maybe like the argument we've had about the paint colour, you know, or the struggles that Wayne's going through at the moment because I've not been able to work and do the admin. You know, there's a whole, we've shared a picture, but there's like hundreds of pixels in the picture, but we've only shared a tiny little bit. And that's what people need to remember, that there's a whole picture, you know, and you can't compare yourself because you don't know that person's kind of whole picture or their whole truth. So that's probably my number one tip there. And also as well with that, just trying to be mindful that influencers and celebrities, you know, that is their job. So they're just going to work basically. Because I had a bit of a sad experience myself, because I reached out to like quite a lot of van lifers and influencers, and quite a lot of large accounts ignored me, and that made me feel that they didn't have any compassion for my calls. I felt unheard. I didn't really feel that important to them. But then I got some advice from a friend who's quite a big influencer on Instagram, and she said that to me. She said, Jade, you just got to remember that they're just doing their jobs. Like it is impossible for people to get back to every single person, and maybe they just missed it. But it just helped me gain an insight from an influencer's point of view as well, which I just wanted to share with everyone, because I'm sure that there's people out there who felt the same as me at different times. So that's another thing. And then failing that, the tips that I've given, won't work for you, don't forget as well that you can just simply like mute or unfollow people if you want to. And I don't mean that to sound bad or anything, but I think there's this element with social media that you shouldn't unfollow and things like that, but removing people from our feed actually gives it gives us chance to make our social media a more positive place for ourselves. And sometimes we have to be selfish like that, you know, we have to, because your mental health is so important, both online and offline, and we should be treating online the same as offline because it can affect people.
100%.
And I'm going to take a breath there, like I've just gone a long run. Sorry, guys.
It's not personal. Like, we all have to create our own boundaries, and the things that for us bring us love and joy and light and whatever it is, it's totally personal. And the things that might make us not feel great, again, it might not necessarily, I mean, there are also some influencers who aren't responsible in the content they put out, but it might also just be for any other reason. Like, you know, it might be that if you're trying to have children and struggling, you don't want to follow people who are posting pictures of their kids. Even, you know, like you were saying, if your physical health is in a condition where you currently don't feel like you can get out and about, you might not want to be following people who are hiking up mountains. And it's not because there's anything wrong with them either hiking up mountains or posting pictures of it. It's about you creating the space that supports you, isn't it?
And like I say, making it a positive experience, because it's you wouldn't necessarily, you know, choose to go for a beer with someone that you didn't necessarily, that caused you a negative emotion, for example. So it's the same on social media, really. It's just exactly the same. So I wanted to finish with some empowering, like, sort of coping mechanisms that we can all use when we're feeling overwhelmed. As I said earlier, like with the world opening back up again, you know, it's very normal to feel overwhelmed at the moment. So when you're feeling this way, there are just some really simple things that we can do that don't cost anything either. So think back to earlier when I asked you to share, like, to think of your special memory that you have in your mind. And I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes, if you don't mind. And I just really want you to, like, relive that memory. So visualize in your mind, you know, what's around you. You know, what can you hear? Are you alone? Are you with someone else? You know, do you feel happy? Are you content? Just really relive that happy moment that you're living again. And now just open your eyes, and I'm going to show you how to create a physical anchor to that memory. So just get your middle finger and then just squash the memory into an anchor. So from now, that's going to be your safe and happy place that you can go to and use whenever you're feeling overwhelmed. So every time we feel stressed, we can use, like, this simple strategy to ground ourselves and give some space from the emotion that we were feeling. And it really allows us to think more clearly by kind of visualizing that special memory, and it changes the thought process. So you may be feeling overwhelmed in that moment. It helps you to create a calm kind of feeling in your body and your senses. It's just a way of removing yourself from that stressful moment in your mind. And for me, that really works. So, you know, it was just something that I wanted to share with everyone, that, you know, you can use again and again. You don't have to close your eyes. You can do it with your eyes open. But now you've got that safe and happy place. You've connected it with the memory. It's just something that you can use as for a bit of time out, really, almost. And also,
would you mind if I gave it a name?
Sorry?
Would you mind if I give it a name to help?
Of course, yeah.
Why I've just got this overpowering feeling to call it the calm coyote.
I love it. Yeah, that's brilliant. I've not really got a name for it, to be honest. I just call it the anchor. I
think that's a really good calm coyote.
I love it. Yeah. That's great.
Everything a silly name.
So yeah, whilst on the subject of, like, hands and fingers and stuff, there's a pressure point on your thumbs, and it's the lower part of your nail. And basically, if you press that on the bottom half of your nail, it is thought to relieve anxiety. So it doesn't work for everyone, because some people aren't receptive to pressure points and things like that, but it's worth giving it a go. It may help you. It's good. That's a good one to kind of use in, like, a traffic jam, or, you know, if you're just in a supermarket and it's busy. That's what I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and it just, you know, takes my mind off of it, but also is, you know, in Chinese medicine is thought to help relieve, you know, anxiety. So that's another thing. And lastly, just a quick show of hands, who feels better? And I know that Brooke and Drew, I keep calling her Brooke. I'm so sorry, Brittany. I've just got it in my head now. I keep calling Brittany Brooke, and I've done it like 3 times now, from Mr. and Mrs. Adventure, and I've just done it again. I can't believe it. They said earlier about how you can simply just smile at people. And so I just wanted a quick show of hands just to say who feels better when a stranger in the street smiles at them, because I know I definitely do. I absolutely love it when people can just get to that kind of basic human, you know, like it just makes the,
oh yeah, 100%.
It really does, yeah. And it's just so simple. And that just brings me on to my last thing, but I'm going to call Wayning to do it with me, because he promised me he would do it with me. He's working at the moment, so just give me a sec. Oh yeah, did you hear me?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So, oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's on a late one tonight. He's in the workshop.
Hi everybody. How you doing?
Good.
So, Wayne and I.
What you're going to do to him?
No, I'm not going to do anything to him. But Wayne and I do this quite a lot, because we like working together so closely. Like we do have like a lot of scraps, like a lot of arguments. You know what it's like, guys. If you've built vans, it can be really stressful. Me and Wayne just do that on repeat all the time, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got to have a workplace well-being strategy in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do this. But what we do when we're feeling overwhelmed is we just literally laugh. Or if we're in the middle of like a you know, a disagreement, we just laugh. So that's how I wanted to end it today, really. I was just going to try and get everyone laughing, just to show that it can really help release endorphins, because basically your body doesn't associate a false laugh to a real laugh. So it can still help to release those endorphins, which is brilliant. And we do it all the time, don't we? So yeah, so after 3, let's all just laugh. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's very cool.
It works. So yeah.
He started.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This one will be going all night, and she'll be weeping with laughter. So.
Yeah.
It's ruined many a team meeting. Yeah, it worked. So good. Yeah, it is. All right, fantastic. No, that was amazing, Jade. Thank you so much for those insights. And yeah,
I've taken so much already. My goodness.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, I think we've gone over time with all of you, but that's great, because there was just so much good stuff to get, and I'm reminded to go back to my journal, and you know, I do my breathing regularly. Definitely want to jump in a cold river. Loving those like really simple practical tips that you've given us, Jade. I just feel like we've got loads and loads of tools. I think we're going to have a slight change of plan, because we were going to send everyone into breakout rooms, but I think by the time we've sent everyone and come back, there's not going to be any time. So let's instead just go to a regular Q&A format. So we've got about 15 minutes basically for people to pop their questions in the chat, whether it's a question that's specific to one of our panelists, or whether you want to hear something from all of them. We'd love to hear your questions. Thank you so much to all of you. That sharing, I think, has just been really powerful. So we've got the practical tips, but I think also just hearing people's stories, and as we've kind of said a few times, hearing the complexity that behind our lives, that it's not just as simple as the photo that you might see in the feed, feels really important. So I hope everybody's feeling like whatever you're going through, you're not alone, and also taking some useful stuff away. So we'd love to hear your questions in the chat. Also, just a reminder at this point that if you are really struggling with your mental health, do go and seek professional advice. All of this stuff we're talking about is about maintenance, it's about keeping yourself healthy. It's not about really taking yourself out of a mental health crisis. That's the stuff that you need the professional input on. But this is the stuff that we can all be trying to do every day just to keep ourselves feeling well. So have we had some questions come
yeah,
through?
Alison made a really great point about how she just takes time to observe nature, look at the cool leaves on a tree, you know, even the moss on the tree, teeny tiny little insects, and sort of, you know, looking at them and thinking, wow, what's their world like as opposed to ours? And, you know, we're all such really tiny little parts of this incredible place, really. So it's, yeah, and looking at the smaller things and finding joy in the smaller things. We've had an open water swimming hack. Just about what you can wear when you do your open swimming. I mean, I personally, doing the open water swimming, I think would find much more benefit from just jumping in, like you guys, Craig and Amy, with your swimsuits on, not having that barrier.
Do a naked one at some point. That would be fun. In the mountains somewhere where nobody can see us.
Someone said that her allotment and chickens have kept her sane during lockdown, and I have to say that getting my hands in the soil does it for me more than anything. Just growing things. I mean, I go and talk to all my plants every day, and just gives me so much joy.
We've had a comment to say that Britt, your intro to your videos on YouTube in particular, when you mentioned just taking that time to breathe, is really beneficial for them, and they take such positivity away from that. So even just that small element to your YouTube videos has that impact on their daily lives. So
Sharon just wanted to thank both Mr. and Mrs. Adventure and Kinging It for keeping her sane throughout lockdown, being unable to travel. But your videos are obviously bringing people a lot of joy.
Thank you,
Sharon. You're welcome, Azza, no worries.
Thanks, mate.
So Lauren's saying that she also struggles with fitness confidence, and is there anything you do to gear up for a big hike?
I take a lot of snacks as treats, not healthy ones, like jammy dodgers and stuff. I am not lying. Not that I've hiked today, but no, not really. I just think to myself, you're gonna benefit from this, and you're gonna love it once you've done it. And I mean, you saw the picture that Craig popped up earlier. It was just magical, and I felt so proud and overwhelmed at the same time. And I always push myself, and it always feels great. Like you will never regret trying to go on a hike, even if you don't make it to the top. You're outside, you've done a bit of it, you know. So never think it wouldn't be worth it.
Now, Kirsten has asked a question which I don't know, that given that we've got 3 couples in front of us, might be a challenging one to answer, because she's wondering about advice for lone traveling and preventing the depression setting in. So I don't know if that's something that any of you have experience of, or know other people who've passed on good tips. Oh, you've got some good tips. We've got our very own solo traveler right here next to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Drew, you were saying about meeting other people, and there's nobody quite like your nana. You know, no one's ever going to replicate that person that's so close to you. But I think just from speaking from experience, I went on lots of solo travel adventures and plan on doing a lot more. And I really found such comfort in meeting just people day to day, not building, you know, intense relationships with these people, just kind of that initial conversation, that kind of base layer, getting to know somebody. And I always found it so refreshing, like, and it sort of reminded me that, you know, there is a world outside of my little, you know, my life, my existence, and it's something that I've always benefited from with solo travels. And even then in the kind of other end of the spectrum is that I always really like to go back to my little place, my safe haven, which is Stevie the camper. And it's kind of like, it's my space, it's my safe place. I could be anywhere. I could be, you know, in Scotland, I could be in France, I could be beyond. It's always the same, that kind of constant.
Yeah.
And for me, that works really well, because you almost can just shut the door and shut the blinds, and you could be, you know, right, I'm cool. You know, you might be in quite an intimidating situation in a country that you're not used to, or your park up's gone a bit wrong, and you're kind of on a car park in the middle of Switzerland. And it's kind of like, right, shut the blinds, shut the door, grab your book, get your journal, stick some music on. Music for me is an absolute winner. Like, that literally has saved me in so many situations. And it just kind of reminds me that, yeah, like, you know, these are the things that remind me that what I like and who I am, and that. So yeah, it's just for me anyway. That's what works for me. I love solo traveling because I can talk for England and Wales and Scotland collectively, United Kingdom. So yeah, it's a great experience for me every time. And you've always got Stevie, the camper van, for me is a person anyway. He's somebody.
You're never alone if you're with your van, right?
We chat, we have one-on-one little times together. So yeah, it's always a great time with Stevie, even though I'm doing well at the moment.
To add to that, Lindsay, I also have to say, for us, we really cherish the time when the other takes a vacation from the van, and we get like a week solo in it ourselves. Like those are, I think you can say the same thing. It makes us grow fonder as a couple, but we both appreciate like that time to go on adventure or just go out there and meet people or explore on ourselves. So I spent a whole week around Plymouth when Brittany had flown back to the States, and I love that experience.
And I'll stay at a campground when he's not around, and I'll just stay at one the whole time and feel so settled and grounded. And then I miss him a little bit. No, I generally miss him a lot, and I'm very ready for a friend.
Jade, my happy moment, just going back to your exercise, it kind of ties in, I guess everybody really, was on a recent trip to Cornwall when I went to Pedney Beach, and I was kind of just there in the moment on my own looking at this beach, and it was just like, and the swimming aspect to it as well, guys, Craig and Amy, there were so many elements to this moment. It was like a half an hour chunk of the day, and it just left me with, I felt revitalized. I felt that's my little happy memory of late, just kind of linking back to that moment and the incredible benefits of just resetting, entering that cold water, that bang when you go in, and it's kind of like the fear and the adrenaline, and then it kind of just like disappears as soon as you have that. So I was just and that was a trip that I was on, seeing other people but then able to have that moment to myself. So I totally agree with what you're saying, Drew. Separating yourself as well, even if you are traveling with others, it's really beneficial. I
mean, I'd love to.
It's something that I want to try and do, like solo travel. Like Wayne and I, we're business partners and partners in crime, but we're not a couple as such. So like I've been trying to get my van done again, and I want to do some solo traveling, but obviously at the moment I'm not well enough anyway. But like it would be amazing to have that experience on my own, and also with my daughter as well, who's 11. So we're hoping to get that.
Greg Virgo's got what I think is a particularly pertinent question to all of you who have larger audiences, but actually for anybody who spends any time on social media is an important one. How do you deal with negative comments or negative private messages or whatever on social media? How do you deal with that and try and not have a negative impact on your mental health?
I just tell them to go poo in somebody else's garden.
You're not allowed
nice
to
putting it.
Judgmental ones all the time, sort of on YouTube about the way the van's been built and stuff. But really,
the way I look.
Wayne's had some bit horrible comments, haven't you? But to be honest, he's so chilled and laid back that it does just go. But me, I would be, if it happened to me, I don't know how I deal with it because I'm more sensitive. So I don't know, but I've not sort of had them yet, have I? So I'm not sure. But
Amy, have you had any negativity on social media?
Oh, we've had loads.
He says we have loads, but we don't get it often, which is why it hurts a bit more, I think. And
no, but when it does happen, it really hits home. And this is what we do. We started this channel to sort of inspire people to travel, and for us it's not a job. Do you know what I mean? We're not just doing our job, we're trying to make videos to inspire people, so that when you do get those bad comments back, it really it can be really.
I take it a lot harder than Craig, and just the same as Wayne, I get a lot of like people will talk about my appearance, and I think I'm not here for you to do that. It does, I mean, people will do it anyway. We've decided now between ourselves that we just have to delete those comments without, I mean, sometimes we feel a bit sassy and we will get back, but that's not the way to do it. We've learned you just need to completely shut it down, get rid of it and forget, because it is always that 1% of people that say it. You get 99.9% of comments that are lovely, but it's that one that'll stick in your head.
Yeah, so
You know
it's just learning to
Always
kind of
coming from
just,
a place, isn't it? You know, you
Yeah.
you do this because you want to entertain, you want to make people happy, you want to, you know, make their day, and
That's not
that
what
is
we're about.
difficult because it's like, well, this is, you know, we're not.
Yeah,
I think it's just
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
important to remember that it's just kind of how they're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not so much what you're doing, Amy. It's more about the reflection of, you know, and for Wayne as well, you know, just their character basically, or how they're feeling with their own mental health. They're probably not in a very good place themselves, and maybe if we looked at it in that way, it may not hurt us so much. I had one actually, didn't I, about my voice? He said I was snobby, but that, you know,
It's when you like pour so much of yourself into something, and all you want is for that to bring joy and connectivity and hope or something, and then you get shut down. And I have to have Drew read them. He's kind of our comment guy, and he'll filter them out. But every once in a while, he'll be like, "You wouldn't believe this one," and I'm like, "Can I see it?" You know, and he's like, "No."
Okay.
Try to protect her.
You just wipe them before she wipes. Okay.
I saw Amy and I both holding our breath like a little bit when that question was asked. We were just like,
It gives me anxiety just trying to answer it, because I know it gets me so much. And the same, like Craig will go through them and he'll say, "Oh, I had a really bad one," and I'm the opposite. I'm like, "Do not tell me, like, it will ruin my day." It's still something that I struggle with. But I really would say, like, if you're wanting to start a YouTube channel, please do not let that be the reason why you don't start.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have a lot of comments that are like, "I'm afraid of what people will say," but
and it's a weird one, because social media, like influencers, they get such a bad rep these days. It's sort of being like pinned as these people who just go around and make all this money, but like, we started from the bottom, worked so hard. We've never been, we've never had any handouts. We've done it all on our own. And we feel really proud of that, and it's like, sharing positive and negative. We try and be as real as we can on the internet. So if we, having a bad time, or we shared last year that we were going through counseling, so just keeping it real, because we never want to paint a picture of us having this perfect life, because it's far from perfect. We have our moments. We were arguing yesterday. but yeah, with the comments, it's just learning to bat them away. It just like Jade said, it's they're obviously just in a bad place, and you kind of got to just pity them in a way, because if you take it to that point where you feel the need to be nasty to someone online, then you've obviously got a lot of issues going on.
And every work has its challenges, and it's like points or things about ourselves that we have to strengthen in a way. And so to a degree, it's almost like it asks, if you want to do this as your job, you have to learn how to, like, in a way that is positive for you or something. Like, luckily, Amy and I have somebody who can filter and things like that, but you can also put in filter words, so if you're a solo YouTuber.
I also think too, just because somebody hates on the content we put out, it doesn't give us a free pass to like write something harsh back to them. So I always think that's like,
you can be cheeky.
Yeah, but if it hits a chord where it's like not horrible what they wrote, but has some validity, I like to answer back in like a way that makes them think about it. And some of my favorite commenters to this day are people who I wrote back to that were quite kind of negative in the get-go, but it's like changing their perspective, kind of what we were talking with the mental health, and like,
it's like, I see
maybe they need to see it in a different perspective.
We hear your
reframed it. You reframed it. I like that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, even so, it's crazy how many people will write a bad comment, then you get back, not harshly, you just sort of question them, and then they apologize straight away, and that's really great.
Forget that there's a human there who,
think so.
Can I ask you guys a question as influencers? I was just wondering, what advice would you give to somebody who may be kind of looking at your lifestyle and maybe feel like a little bit envious, or they wish they could be you? Like, what kind of advice would you give to these kind of people?
It's a lot of work. Go ahead, Craig.
No, honestly,
It's just a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's so rewarding, but it comes with its highs and lows. And
work hard, play
yeah,
hard.
like
Work harder.
there's a lot of
Play
time
hard.
spent on our computers editing and answering emails and doing admin stuff, and like how you and Wayne work together and like balance each other in your business. We as influencers and YouTubers have a whole backside of it that's like, just figuring out where to park up at night takes energy, right? And so then it's like editing a video, answering to a brand, answering to comments, and like what you said about big influencers not always answering. We sometimes just don't have the capacity as two people. Like some of the bigger brands are starting to have teams around what they do. But right now it's like Brittany and I, and we're working our buns off just to like enjoy our lives and keep up with our work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but in a positive way, persistence and consistency. I think Craig and Amy have had the same formula as us. Just keep believing in what you're sharing and just keep finding your authentic voice. Somebody asked me once, what is your secret sauce? And I was like, my secret, I don't have any secret sauce. I'm like, I just try before every filming to say, help me to just be as much me as I can, like my most authentic voice, so that what we put out there is fulfilling, not only for them, but for me too, because I know that that's what's, that's what I'm working with there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think as you grow too as a channel or influencer, you almost put more pressure on yourself to do like certain things that maybe capture audience attention, but then you have to step back and remember, hey, like, is this really what we'd be doing whether or not we're influencers or not? Like, and if it doesn't tick that box,
do you want to do this?
It's like, we need to first and foremost love what we're going to do and then make videos about that. And I think that's something we have to constantly like, we of course want to do the big adventures because riding a tuk-tuk across India is a hell of a lot of fun. Like, so that's like, if they can say they want to do that, which I know they love to do that, then make videos about it, then heck yeah. But like, if it's going to be miserable and then make videos about it, I think that's for the person starting a YouTube channel. Like, don't do it if it doesn't tick the box for you personally.
Like,
first.
Do you want to film a day in the life episode? Or maybe not. Maybe you want to film going to the park.
Yeah.
Just asking yourself.
I have a hard job trying to get Wayne to do any kind of filming. That's why we're not very active, are we, at all on our social media? Yeah.
You have beautiful pictures of your ends.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We do try and put some little videos together, but yeah, it takes me about 200 cuts to do one sentence, I'm afraid. I just Jay's killing me.
Yeah, we don't bring out the best in each other when we try and do van tours and stuff, so it just ends up with Wayne just doing a little bit at the start and then I have to do the voiceover because we try, but it just doesn't work, does it?
No.
The muscle.
It is, and you work to your strengths, like you say, and do the things do the things you enjoy.
That's right.
Yeah, but
we do it, don't we? Lindsay and Lindsay.
It's been working well so far. No, I think from a really serious standpoint, I mean, we're very much behind the scenes with Quirky and cracking on and stuff, but we only said today about how, like, if you don't feel like working today, Lindsay's pretty much the first and best person to turn around and say, just go and take a few hours, go home, go to bed. And you almost, it's like I was off last week, I took a week off and it was really hard for me to take a week off because, well, number one, I don't see it as a testing job to have anyway, for me as a kind of from a mental capacity, because it's so fun every day, but just allowing yourself time to take it off. And Lindsay's like, no, take the time, go and just be somewhere and put your phone down and like blah blah blah. But it just having that approach to it is just, it makes such a difference, and it almost feels like it's just not a job most of the time. So I think that's a really good thing to remember, is that if it's fun and you enjoy it, then do it, and if it isn't, then don't do it.
And that's exactly, that goes for any line of work. And like you say, this this is, although you might do it for joy and you might do it to inspire people, it is also a lot of work. So if this is something that people want to seriously explore, they just need to be realistic about it and they need to be loving it. Otherwise, like any job, you're not going to enjoy it, and you're going to feel trapped in it. So,
and I think going back to what Jade's question about people sort of looking at our lives and maybe feeling envious about it, it's been a long road for us. We're like 7 years in now, and we're only just comfortable with like income and our views. Our channel has been a really slow grower, and like I wouldn't change it for the world, but we work more hours now than we've ever done in any job in our whole
Yeah,
lives.
trying to get away from the 9 to 5 computer job. We're on the laptops all the time.
Literally non-stop, and it's so hard to take time off.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously people just see a snippet on Instagram or a reel or a YouTube video, and obviously you can choose parts to put in to entertain people, but it's a lot of work, and it's great. It is great fun because at the end of the day you work for yourself, and you can take that time off if you need to.
And I feel like if we were getting comments and messages of envy, we'd have to look at what we were doing. But at the moment it's like, you inspired me to do this, and I can't wait to get out, and I bought a van, and
we never want it to be like,
no, we would
look
never.
at this amazing life we live. You know, we always want the message to be, you can do this,
you should do this.
All of the things that we've done in a way are achievable. You know, if you want to buy a van, you just start putting some money away. In the beginning we wanted to travel, so we saved for 2 years and worked a 9 to 5 and then started a YouTube channel. So I feel like if anything you want to set your mind to, you can definitely do it. You just got to make a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, we are out of time. So I just want to thank you all again for being here, and for sharing your thoughts, sharing your hearts, opening up. Thanks again to all of you for joining us, for what I hope has been a heartwarming, inspiring topic that's reminded you to take care of yourselves and each other. Reach out and check on each other and make sure that we're all feeling connected and held and supported in love.
Get on the social platforms, follow these guys. They're a great inspiration to so many people, so definitely check them out. And guys, honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're really, really privileged to have you, and we look forward to you joining us again, and more of these opportunities to chat to the van life community. It's been so great to connect with so many people, and just remember that there are, particularly at the moment when everyone's been kind of shut in and we're only just breaking out, to remember that there's a big community out there, and we just look forward to seeing you all in person in the near future. My mouth hurts from talking even on this Zoom call, so Lord knows what it's going to be like when I'm meeting people in real life. I have a very long lie down afterwards, but thank you so much. It's been really, really nice to chat to you all, and
a lot of really grateful comments coming through for your openness, so thank you so much. Oh, how wonderful.
Thank you for having us. We love our British family.
Yeah, we do.
Take care of yourselves and each other.
All the best, everyone. Have a great evening.
Bye.
See you later.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.